Smug mode. Well, I can't hang around here saving your necks all day. I guess I'll go and make a start on that ironing.
Hello. I've stopped watching some of the anti-EV YouTube videos because some of them are so depressing and full of misinformation. That's the word we used to call lies. But I've just seen one I want to talk about called EVs Are Terrible for the Environment. Hello friends, I'm Nigel and welcome to all my subscribers, new and old. Please subscribe for regular updates, that would be fantastic, thank you. So the video is from a driver of a 16-year-old Mercedes, and he says he essentially has no problems with his ICE car with regular oil changes and maintenance. But he says that EV batteries are such a pain in the back to deal with, and he says it doesn't matter what the cost of net zero is to the environment imposed on us by governments. He says the battery is a disposable consumable that will be recycled, and you have the problem of recycling the horrible mess of 7,000 batteries and mining all the materials to make another battery. On the one hand, I am pleased that because there are so many people calling out misinformation or lies on the internet, a few months ago the claims were that EV batteries are not recycled, they end up on landfill, but I am pleased that he is using the word recycled. But I don't agree there are a pain in the back to recycle, and a lot of people will be making money out of that process, which is excellent and good for the environment. Now, recycling means the life of a product continues in another new form or a new life as the parts are ground down to extract more materials, lithium, nickel and manganese, to produce more car batteries, and that's got to be a good thing. But he is saying the battery is recycled, but he also says the mining of the materials to make another battery, well, he's just forgotten that the battery is being recycled. He also says the ICE car, you mine the materials once and make the vehicle and maintain it, and he says it's 1,000,000 times more environmentally friendly to continue to maintain an ICE car than to recycle an EV battery. 1,000,000 times more environmentally friendly. I don't know where those facts come from, in his mind probably. He thinks recycling an EV battery is worse than searching for oil hundreds of feet underground, often in deep oceans. Then it has to be extracted and transported. Then it's got to be refined. Oil tankers and oil pipes leak, tankers sink and killing whatever it touches, and a terrible, terrible, terrible harm to the environment. Eventually the gas goes into vehicles. After all that energy has been used, the fumes are poisonous, harming the planet. The car fumes can create symptoms of mild CO2 exposure, including headache and drowsiness. Higher levels of CO2 exposure include rapid breathing, confusion, increased cardio output and elevated blood pressure. Oxygen depletion caused by extreme CO2 emissions can lead to death by suffocation. It's terrible that people are dying around the world as a result of CO2 emissions. Very sadly, a 9-year-old girl died in London, and the coroner said it was caused by acute respiratory failure, severe asthma and air pollution. India are considering banning diesel cars by 2027, and that's only in what, 3 years' time? 4 years' time? Because the problem is so bad there, and they've got 1.3 billion people.
Carbon monoxide and nitrogen dioxide, which affect our cardiovascular systems, are released from these vehicles. Pollutants released from cars such as sulfur dioxide, lead, benzene and others can seriously affect human health. Turning off your vehicles at stop signals reduces toxic emissions.
The YouTuber I'm talking about thinks diesel pollution cars is better than recycling an EV battery because it's a pain in the back. He says 5,000 tons of earth have to be mined to refine to make one EV battery. It's not true, and this originated from a social media claim that 500,000 pounds of earth are mined to get the minerals needed to produce one Tesla car battery. It's not true. The lie is repeated time and time again, and Instagram did remove it because of their misinformation policy, but it does remain on many other social media sites, and it's had a new life recently on the chat rooms. If it wasn't for CO2 emissions, you could argue that driving a 14-year-old car was better for the environment because of reducing the manufacturing CO2 emissions. But every mile the ICE car drives, it's polluting. Before my Tesla, which was my only new car, I always bought used cars. I've been driving 50 years, and if anyone should be stuck in the past, it's me. But we do have a better way of doing things these days. It's a much cleaner way for young and old and for the planet. The YouTuber says we will do more damage to the environment getting to net zero. And I reckon, he says, EVs are worse for the environment. He says it's baffling the environmentalists think EVs are more environmentally friendly than ICE car. They're obsessed with fossil fuels and want to destroy the planet. EVs are an abomination. His views are his views, without any scientific backup, and probably because he believes the lie that 5,000 tons of earth have to be mined and refined to make just one EV battery. If you start off with a lie and misinformation, you can draw your own conclusions where you're going to end up. It's not true, and researching for this, I saw the lie repeated in chat rooms many times. Now, finding a lie on the internet that agrees with your own views is not the truth. You have to find reputable sources and look for collaboration, not just an opinion or oil-funded misinformation, but somewhere reputable and with research and data and facts and information. I know there's nothing green about driving a gas, petrol, diesel, or even an electric car, as they all have to be manufactured. The electric car does take more CO2 emissions to be produced than a petrol car, but after driving around 13,500 miles, you're doing less harm to the environment than an ICE car. So an EV is not green, but it is a better way of doing things without producing every mile CO2 emissions. Walking is green, riding a bicycle is pretty green. You have to make a bike, but it's certainly greener than driving. The 13,500 miles is much less if your electricity supply comes from renewables, wind and solar. Fortunately, where I live, we export as much renewables as we use ourselves, and that's brilliant. Lots of people have solar, and there are many more wind turbines than just a few years ago. Everywhere, the number keeps growing, as well as solar, and of course not forgetting wave power. There's enough energy from the sun to power everything on Earth over 100 times. Some say 1,000. Anyway, thank you very much for getting this far. I hope you can like and subscribe. Please don't forget to take your reusable mug wherever you go. Thanks very much for watching. Take care. See you next time. Drive safely. Bye.